Good afternoon, everyone. Can we start the class?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the topic to be revised in nursing education, there was one topic on management of School of Nursing. Okay, anyone have taken any prior class regarding this topic? Management of School of Nursing. Hmm? Just say yes or no. Any prior class has been taken on this topic?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so let's discuss today management of school of nursing. How we can manage a school of nursing. Okay, first we'll discuss the management part. After that, we'll continue with the INC guidelines. Okay, so to open a school of nursing or college of nursing, what are the guidelines we need to follow? Those things also we'll discuss after this topic. Okay, so management of school of nursing. So what do you mean by this? So what the things will be there inside the topic? You are studying in a nursing college, right? So what are the things will be there? What are the things we need to manage a school of nursing or college of nursing? Can you see my slides?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Purnima, can you tell me like what are the things we need to manage a particular school or college of nursing?
The school of nursing should be near the hospital.
Okay, means
And there
you
should
want to
be.
say that we need a hospital, parent hospital. Okay, good. And
Yes, ma'am. And proper, like sufficient place for the classes and all.
mm,
And there should be a proper auditorium.
mm, okay.
And yes, ma'am.
Okay, so those are the guidelines given by INC. So INC they have given some guidelines. Those guidelines we need to follow whenever you want to open a new school, or if you are running a school of nursing. Those guidelines we need to follow. Okay, but to manage anything we need a management, right? We need the management to run your school or your college. Okay, so to run your school or run your college, we need human resource, the first thing. Okay, so human resource management, first thing you have to have the human resource in your school or in your college or maybe in any other industry. So in the human resource management, so I think everyone knows what is human resource management. Some of you, I think you have presented the seminar also, human resource management. Yes. Yes or no, about stuffing, recruitment, induction, orientation. Who have presented the seminar? Hmm? Barisha Owen? Who have presented a particular topic? Induction, personal management. Barisha, right? Barisha and her group. Okay. So you must have the idea regarding the human resource management. Okay, the same thing, whatever we need in management, whatever you have studied in management, those things only we need to run a particular school or need to manage a particular school of nursing or college of nursing. So first thing you will be needing staff. Okay, so to recruit the staff or to bring out the staff, the process is known as staffing. So human resource management, it is correlated with the staffing. Okay, so definition and all I will not go through because you already have idea. So what are the documents you need to have with yourself if you are running a particular nursing institution about your staff? Okay, suppose you are the manager of your nursing institution, you have your own institution and you are having 6 numbers of staff. This is just an example. Okay, so what are the documents or what are the information you should have about your staff. Okay, because when INC will come for inspection in your particular institution, they will be needing this information about your employee. Okay, that time you have to publish or you have to submit this information to INC inspectors. Okay, so what are the human resource inventory money? What are the human resource data you should have with yourself? So your name of the staff, date of birth, father's or husband names, marital status, post for which he or she is appointed, then qualification at the time of appointment, qualification acquired every year. So what is qualification acquired every year? So according to INC, we know that BSc after being graduated, so BSc and post basic, you will be appointed as tutor, right? So after 1 year experience, you can go for your higher study MSc. After MSc, you will be appointed as lecturer. Then after 3 years, you will be getting the promotion as assistant professor. So these are the promotions. So what qualification acquired every year? So every year or maybe 3 years, after 1 year, what qualifications he has acquired. Okay, that one also you have to keep the record. Then compensation, if there is any compensation, then that one also you have to record. Then scale of pay, at what scale you are paying your employee, okay, per month paying scale. Then basic pay, what is the basic pay he or she is getting. Then promoted scale, if he or she is getting any promotion, how much or what is the scale you are providing. Then personal pay, if any, if there is any extra payment, for example bonus or anything additional is there, then you have to add up. Award and reward, date, month, year, any other compensation. Then promotion, date, and about promotion, what are the things you need to include? Date, month and year of promotion, promotion position, then reason and grounds for the promotion. If you are giving the promotion according to the experience, then you can write the reason, experience. Or if you are giving promotion according to the working, maybe he or she is working very hard, so if you are giving promotion according to that one also you can write in the reasons. Then achievement, if any, in the achievement what are the things you can include? Maybe your particular one staff, she has published many research, okay, that one also you can include in the achievement. And maybe he or she is presenting her papers in different webinars, maybe he or she is invited as resource person, okay, so these are the achievement you can include. Then language known, so whatever language your employees know, and individually you have to write down. Training given and attended, so what are the training you have given and what are the training your employees have attended, maybe outside the organization. Then number of paper published. Anything? Any confusion? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Number of paper published. Number of paper published means it's related to the research publication. Okay, this is very important. Nowadays INC also and other organization also, they are giving promotion depending on the number of research publication. So you all also try to publish your research. From if you start from now, from the after graduation, if you start after MSc, you will have lots of paper publication, and it will like a number of paper publication also, it will affect your salary. You will be promoted, you will get bonus. Okay, so try to publish your research paper. Then punishment given and its detail, if you have given any punishment to your employee, you have to write in details. Then sickness sickness, if any, if your employee is having any sickness, and its detail. Then capabilities, everyone knows what is capabilities. About your employee capabilities you have to write down. Number of lecture given outside. Then performance rating, you have to do the performance appraisal. I think you have idea what is performance appraisal. So after performance appraisal, what is the rating he or she is getting, you have to write. Then general problem faced by him or her. At last you have to write the general problem if he is facing any problem in the institution. Okay, for example, maybe there are only maybe you have 5 staff and 4 of them are male, 1 is female. Maybe she is not comfortable with them because only 1 female. This is just an example. So according to your employee, whatever problems he have faced or he have faced, you have to write it down. This is the general problem faced by him or her. Okay, understood till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next let's discuss the staffing pattern as per INC. So INC, what is the staffing pattern they have given to manage a particular school of nursing. Okay, so principal come professor. So we need one principal, right? So now because it's a university, Assam Downtown University, that's why in universities it is called as dean. But her position is principal only. So principal come professor. MSc Nursing with 15 years of experience after MSc, out of which 12 years should be teaching experience and minimum of 5 years in the collegiate program. PhD is desirable. So if you want to work somewhere as a principal, you have to have work experience of 15 years. Okay, then 12 years have to be in the college and minimum 12 years should be in the teaching experience, yes, with minimum 5 years of the collegiate program. So in school and college both we used to work, right? We have a combined program. So suppose after MSc you have 15 years of experience, but you have only worked in the school of nursing. Okay, you have worked only with school program. In that time, in that condition, you will not be appointed as a principal, because if you want to appoint yourself as a principal, you should have minimum 15 years experience, and from there 12 years you have to work with the college program. Okay, then only you can be the principal. And PhD is desirable. So PhD is desirable means it's better if it is there, and if it is not there also it's okay. So 15 years experience we need for our principal. Then vice principal come professor. MSc Nursing with 12 years of experience after MSc, out of which 10 years should be teaching experience with minimum 5 years in the collegiate program. So here we need 12 years of experience, out of which 10 years teaching experience should be in the collegiate program. Teaching experience, and from there 5 years should be in the collegiate. Okay, so this is the minimum experience required for vice principal. PhD is desirable. Assistant professor, MSc Nursing with 3 years experience after MSc. So after doing MSc you have to wait for 3 years. In the 3 years you have to work as a lecturer. Okay, so after 3 years of MSc you will be promoted as assistant professor. Then tutor, MSc Nursing, BSc Nursing, post basic nursing with 1 year experience. So this 1 year actually if you want to hire someone as a tutor, they should have 1 year experience, but due to lack of human resource and there are more number of colleges, that's why without 1 year experience also nowadays the colleges are recruiting the clinical instructor or tutors. Okay, so this is the staffing pattern given by INC. Understood? Any confusion? Any confusion till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So designation principal, professor come principal for BSc Nursing, 60 to 40 student intake. We need one. Okay, we need one principal if your student intake is 40 to 60 per year. Okay, if in your BSc Nursing your seat capacity is 60 to 40, then we will be needing one principal. If your intake is 61 to 100, then also you need only one principal. Okay, the number of human resource you will be needing for your school or college of nursing according to INC. This is given according to INC. Then your professor cum vice principal, same, we need one for both the cases. 40 to 60 also we need one. Then 60 to 100 also we need one. Professor 40 to 60 we don't need, it's okay also if we don't have. Then 60 to 100 we need one. Assistant professor we need 2 for 60 to 40, and 61 to 100 we need 4. Sorry, associate professor. Then assistant professor for 40 to 60 we need 3, and for 60 to 100 we need 6. So this is, and tutor for 40 to 60 we need 10 to 18, and for 60 to 100 we need 19 to 28. Okay, so according to the student intake, they have given the requirement. Okay, understood till now? So now come to the recruitment.
Yes, ma'am.
So recruitment, I think already taken by some of your friends. So we'll just review the class, what is recruitment. So everyone knows what is recruitment, right? So there is a difference between recruitment and selection. So have you heard the both term recruitment and selection? Anybody can tell me what is recruitment and what is selection? Whoever is interested can give me the answer. You may be wrong also, no problem. What is recruitment and what is selection, or what is the common difference? Okay, no idea. So recruitment, what is recruitment? It is the process of finding an attractive, capable applicant for the employment. Okay, this process begins when new recruits are sought and end when their application are submitted. Okay, you want to attract or you want to take someone for particular position. So recruitment, it is a process. So it will start when new positions or vacant position will be there in your institution, and when it will complete when you will be getting attractive or a good employee for the particular position. So it is a process. The process also, the steps and process also we'll discuss. Let's discuss what are the factor it affect the recruitment process. So size of the institution. If your institution is very big, you will be needing more human resources. If it is small, then you will need less human resource. The number of department, then courses offered. If you are offering from school to PhD level, you will be needing more human resources. If you have just a school of nursing, you will be needing less human resources. Then specialization offered in our institution. Specialization, we are offering only 3 specialization: child health nursing, mental health nursing, and OBG. Okay, so according to the specialization offer, you will be needing your human resource. Then employment condition in the community. If you need like employment condition, sometimes to give employment to few section of the society eligible like what to say, employment condition in the community. For example, your institution in a community where employment condition is very bad. Okay, to support them, sometimes you have to recruit the staff. Okay, if the employment condition is very poor in the particular community where your institution is situated. So sometimes it depends the employment condition of the community also. Then working conditions, salary and benefits, rate of growth of the institution, plan for the future expansion, culture, economic and legal forces, etc. So these are the factors which affect the process of recruitment. Now let's discuss what is the steps of recruitment. So recruitment, the process when it will start when new vacancy or vacant post will be there in your institution. Okay, new vacancy means maybe you want to add up new position in your institution, that one can be counted as new vacancy. And maybe someone was working in your institution, she or he have resigned, okay, then vacant post will be there in your institution. So recruitment process will start at that particular point. So first thing what you will do if you want to recruit someone, preparation of the recruitment policy and rules. You have to have the recruitment policy. So what is policy? All the rules and regulation will be written, how you are going to do the recruitment process. Okay, everything will be written in the recruitment policy. Okay, so you have to have the recruitment policy. Then only you can start your recruitment process. Then planning and assessment of the recruitment programs. Now you can plan and you can assess, you can assess what are the new designation or new vacancy you want to add up, and how many vacant posts is there in your particular institution. You have to assess, you have to do research on that. Research means you have to just find out. Demand forecasting. Okay, so what is the demand of your institution? For example, maybe in your institution community health nursing specialization was not there, maybe you want to add up. Okay, maybe it is the demand, because every year you are getting many candidate who wanted to study community health nursing. This is just an example, okay, but that specialization was not there in your institution, but you are seeing that the demand is there. Okay, then you want to open it up because it is very demanded. That's why if you want to a department, new department, obviously you will be needing new vacancies, you will be needing new post. So you have to do the demand forecast. Then determination of the resource of recruitment. Now you have to check from where you can do the recruitment. I think in recruitment you have already studied that we can recruit from the internal sources and you can recruit from the external sources. So now you have to check the recruitment sources, from where you can get the proper human resource for the particular position. Okay, then writing job description and person specification. Obviously you have to write the job description. So suppose you want to recruit a new tutor for your institution, so what are the things you want him or her to be done? That one will be your job description. Okay, maybe to assist the student in the clinical area, to take the theory classes. Okay, so these are some examples. So what are the things you want them to do whenever they are working in your institution? That thing will be your job description. Okay, but whenever you are making job description, you have to be very careful, because the employee, sometimes if you are giving them work out of their job description, they may complain against it. Okay, so whenever you are writing job description, so you have to be very careful as a manager. Whatever you want them to do, those things only you have to write it down. Then preparation of the then next one is the drafting the application from an instruction to the candidate. Now you can give your application from, so that they can apply. Then preparation of the advertisement and release in the media. So you have to advertise about your vacancy, otherwise people will not know that this particular position is vacant in your institution. So you have to do the advertisement. Advertisement can be done in many ways. You can give to print media, you can publish in the social media, so you can tell to your friends. Okay, so it depends. So advertisement you have to do to get the applicant. Then collecting filled up application form. You have to collect the filled up application form now. Then you have to do the interview. You have to arrange for interview. Then the applicant will come for interview at that time only, and when they will be selected, at that time only your recruitment process will end. Okay, understood? So first thing what you need to do in the recruitment process is taught or not? Before also I think class has been taken about recruitment. Recruitment process is important. Okay, it may come in exam. Dimse, can you tell me about recruitment process? Dimse, are you there? Nilima, can you tell me? Yeah, Dimse, are you there? Okay. Tell me something about recruitment process.
Recruitment process.
Just now what I have explained.
It is a process to identify the job vacancies.
Job vacancies. After identification, what you will do? When the recruitment process will start?
Analyzing the job requirement.
Then?
And searching for.
Then? See, whenever you are getting any question regarding recruitment, okay, for example, you are getting short note as recruitment. So dear, what are the things you can include? You can write about recruitment, what is recruitment, definition, introduction you can write, then importance of recruitment, factor affecting recruitment, and always you have to include the recruitment process. Okay, if you are not including the recruitment process in your answer, you will not be getting proper marks. And this is very common question used to come. Okay, this recruitment process, it may come in administration and it may also come in nursing education. Okay, so whenever you are talking about recruitment process, always remember it will start when new vacancy or empty vacancy will be there in the organization. Okay, new vacancy or any empty vacancy is there in your organization, and when it will complete, when the particular vacancy will be filled up by proper applicant. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So next is about your recruitment policy. So what is recruitment policy? It is the written plan how your recruitment process is going to take place. Okay, this is the recruitment plan how your recruitment process is going to take place. Okay, this is all about your recruitment policy. So it is serve as a guide to thinking and action of those who have to make the decision in course of accomplishment of the educational institution goal, and such here the recruitment of the teaching and non-teaching staff. So you will have some kind of policy that for your organization you will be needing 10 cleaning staff. Okay, you will be needing one typist, you will be needing one accountant. Okay, so and for everyone you will have the salary structure, you will have what are the facilities they will be getting, how many leaves will be allotted for them, how many sick leave you will be giving to your employee, then how many gazetted holiday will be giving to your employee. So everything will be there in the recruitment policy, so that if your employee is filing any complaint against you that you are giving them less salary, or maybe you are not giving them proper leaves, so that time you can just show them the recruitment policy. Okay, so for every organization there will be recruitment policy. And what is the use of recruitment policy? It will guide the recruiters. Okay, whoever is going to do the recruitment, it will guide them, and it will also guide the employees, whoever is working in the institution. So that is all about the recruitment policy. We will not go in details. I think it's already 40 minutes over. We still have time, or it's already 40 minutes?
It's about to be 40 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're left out with selection and steps of selection, induction.